Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here, got another Master Duel video for you, and it's Monday, which of course means it is time for another one of our weekly viewer specials. For those of you who are new to the channel or this series, first of all, welcome, glad to have you here, and second of all, let me give you a brief rundown. So basically, every week on Monday, we like to showcase replays from you all, the viewers. It's a great opportunity to not only look at strategies, builds, or playstyles that I haven't explored yet myself, but we all get to come together and cheer each other on for our games, which is just fun as a community. So if you're interested in getting a replay in for a video, then you're going to want to head down to the description below. There you're going to find an invite link to our Discord server, the HexLexPlex. Once you're in there, under the Master Duel section is a channel called Viewer Special Submissions. There you can drop your 9-digit player ID, and that way I can see your publicly saved replays. If you have one replay in particular you really want me to see, make sure that you leave your opponent's name, the date and time, or a screenshot, just something where I know that's the duel you want me to watch. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. So let's go ahead and start watching some of your replays. All right, our first replay comes to us from The Ghost, aka This Game Sucks, is their username on the Discord server. But very, very cool list that we're going to be taking a look at today, and I think we're going to take a look at this game in particular, because I'd like to see how a deck like this combos. We are on, it's going to be Sky Striker, Radiant Typhoon, Millennium, Fiendsmith, HECKIN. Wow, what a mouthful. In a 51 card build. And not just like a very light Sky Striker package, we've got some pretty dedicated engine here with the 3 Widow Anchor, the triple Ray, along with, yeah, as mentioned, HECKIN and Millennium, Fiendsmith, with a little bit of Radiant Typhoon support as well. We even have room, despite all these engines, for Super Poly and targets for Super Poly. That's incredible. Yeah, I am very eager to see how this all combos, and we're even going to be playing up against Cool Tune. I almost also took a look at this game, which is a going second game against Cool Tune, but definitely would recommend checking out both. Of course, you can do so by taking a look at Ghost's, player ID at the start there. Anyway, yeah, I want to see how this deck combos. So let's take a look at a going first game. All right, we've got Ray, Swen, and Millennium Golem, as well as Triple Attack and Spell Card Monster Reborn. We're going to go Swen for Vision, ripping the Vision to discard the Spell Card Monster Reborn here, drawing MST and one of the HECKIN's counter traps. Now we're going to summon Ray, put Millennium Golem in the spell trap zone, and link into Camellia. Camellia gets to activate here, dumping the Hornet drones, and then I imagine this will be Kagari in order to add back the Hornet drones. And of course, my brain right now is screaming, put in Yummy too, do Yummy plays here. But, that might be a bit too much. Nah, there's no such thing when it comes to pile decks. Okay, so they do have an Effect Veiler. They're going to use that against our Kagari. However, we do get to use the Triple Tactics talent. We're going to find Ray and Super Poly. Millennium Golem is going to activate, adding Wedju Temple. Now we're going to use the Wedju Temple in order to activate, placing the Rose. I said Ray earlier, I meant Rose. And then the Sengenjin. Sengenjin is going to grab another copy of itself after summoning, and we can put another copy in the spell trap zone. Now we're going to link Golem plus Kagari into Silhouette Rabbit. Silhouette Rabbit's going to set the Angel statue as a rune, and now we're going to send in the Snake Eyes Doom Dragon. Next up, we're going to overlay into the Zombie Vampire. And I imagine this is how we get to bridge. Okay, so we're going to take their Cool Tune Q. Oh, that's so clever! Because you get to use Zombie Vampire to take a card that is owned by your opponent. And then you have the Silhouette Rabbit as an illusion monster. I love that. Oh, that's incredible. This is, I'm telling you, this is always going to be my favorite parts of pile decks. Just this exact moment of being like, whoa, 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 you can do that? Like, Beautiful. Chef's kiss. Mwah. Love it. All right, so Hecka Hands Jaws is going to add the hidden Hecka Hands, which will then activate, sending away the Wedju Temple to add Hecka Hands Ibtel, and then we can also set the other Hecka Hands counter trap that we didn't already have. Ibtel's going to put itself back to summon out the Gygus. Now, Gygus can reveal 3 of the opponent's cards. We're going to take their Ghost Spell, and then we can link Ghost Spell and Zombie Vampire into Moon of the Closed Heaven. Of course, here is the Fiendsmith Pivot. Now we can turn Moon into Fiendsmith's Requiem. Requiem is going to activate. Here's Lacrima. Lacrima is going to dump Engraver. Graver going to shuffle back the Lurie in order to add. Or summon, rather. And then it's going to be Sequence, I imagine, here. Yep, here is Sequence. Now, are we going to summon Desiree, or it looks like we're going to make Caesar? Of course, summoning Fiendsmith's Lacrima first, and then using that in order to revive the Engraver. Sure enough, we are about to overlay into the Caesar. Oh my god, this end board is insane. Set to say go. So here we have the 2 summon negates with the Caesar, as well as the Azaroon, which is a 3rd summon negate. We have the 2 Hecka Hands counter traps, as well as the fact that we have Jaza, which can't be destroyed by battle, Gygus, which can't be destroyed by battle, and okay, it doesn't have a quick effect, but that's wild. Okay, they're going to begin with Rotary, revealing Q, and we are going to chain Ibal Hecka Hands, or Ibal, not sure how you pronounce it, but either way, it's going to both negate and destroy the Rotary, as well as summon it to our field. They're going to normal summon Q, but we're going to use Azaroon to put a stop to that. Synchro Overtake is going to activate. We're chaining Yadal Hecka Hands, which will, of course, negate that. And that'll be concede from the opponent. Wow. I love that Silahat plus Zombie Vampire equals Hecka Hands plays. Oh, that's insane, and it even gives you leftover bodies to be able to do Fiendsmith on top of that. That's so cool. And we started with Radiant Typhoon and Sky Striker stuff. Very much worth keeping in mind. Thank you very much for showing that, the Ghost. That was very, very cool. And we're going to take a look at 2 more games. Here's the next one. All right, our next duel comes to us from Violet Rose, who is playing an Infernoble Pile deck. Let's see. Which one of these replays is it? Okay. Looks like it's going to be one of these 2 down here. Okay, so yeah, versus Hal, that's the Cool Tune one. So here's our list here. So we got the Makonko, we got the, more Makonko, Infernoble is what I meant to say. We have a Millennium Engine here as well. And on top of that, we are making use of a new card. Archmage Non-Finito is going to be in this build. And of course, we have the accompanying Archmage Feinmel to add some more disruption here, which is really neat. And as mentioned, we are going to be up against Cool Tune. Ooh, they're playing a little bit of a canine package. That's kind of neat. But let's dive right on into it. Yeah, I don't play Infernoble nearly as often as I should. It's just one of those combo decks that I do like. I just don't have a lot of time to... The problem is, it's actually kind of a vicious cycle because I don't get back to it for a while. And then because I haven't gotten back to it a while, I don't remember how to, do Infernoble combos. And then it's like, well, I don't want to relearn Infernoble combos, so I put it off longer. That's why I haven't really covered any of these piles lately, but I would like to get back to it at some point. Beginning with Sky Striker stuff, I did even point out that this was in the list too. And there's good old Isolde. Oh, and that's how we get Feinmel and then Non-Finito. That's cool because Feinmel's a warrior. I really like that. Yeah, people have their opinions about Isolde, but I'm a huge fan of... I already mentioned this video like 2 times already, but I'm a huge fan of pile decks, and I don't think that anything that Isolde enables is like so broken that it's meta warping. I know the big argument in response to that from a lot of people is, well, who cares? It shouldn't be allowed anyway, which at that point is just a personal, I think, opinion. And yeah, I mean, I'm of the opinion that like if something isn't warping the meta, and yeah, why not? Why not allow it? And to me, this kind of thing is always going to be more interesting than, you know, just playing a one archetype meta deck as is. It's like, it feels to me at that point like, especially when a deck archetype blocks. I hate archetype blocks. It just feels like at that point Konami's like building the deck for you. I just love the ingenuity that comes from pile decks and bridging one engine to another. So they are going to end up making a Valen during our turn, turning our non-finito face down, but we can use this card the turn it was set the counter trap here. We're going to banish the non-finito to negate and destroy their Valen. We also get 2 triple tactics talent. We're going to take a look at their hand. And let's see, it looks like it is Rotary, Recco, Q, and Desires. Wow, that's a lot of gas. But no more hand traps, which is a good sign for us. We're going to take the Recco, activate the Phoenix Gear Blade by equipping to the Angelica. This, of course, will trigger the Angelica effect. And there's the Roland. Now here is the Durandal, which will let us search. Turpin gets to revive. And we're going to grab the Renaud. Renaud? Is that the name? God, it's been so long. There's Emperor Charles. Renaud, no L. Okay. And then, of course, here is the Link One Charles. I still think this is such a cool concept. Like, the idea that you can have a Link One of a very specific monster to have, like, a boss version of it. That's so cool. Okay, here's the second Emperor Charles, which I'm sure means a second Charles the Great is coming, because I'm pretty sure you almost always do 2 of those, right? Unless we're making Baron instead. We've got the Baron de Fleur. Here's Mayawashi Dori, equipping that to Charles the Great. It's going to give us a Spell Trap negate. Phoenix Gear Blade, I believe, is a monster negate, right? And then we have the Spell negate of Angelica's Angelic Ring. And we get the non-finito back as well. Wonder if we'll get to fusion someone with that effect. Okay, they're going to lead with Desires. We're going to negate with Emperor Charles. And then they triple tack. But, yep, Angelica's Angelic Ring will take care of that. Now they just have Rotary plus Q. We know that. We're going to go Gear Blade. That'll send the ring to negate plus destroy. And now, once they normal summon the Q, we can simply negate plus destroy with the Baron de Fleur. Yep. Easy peasy. That's going to be their entire hand dealt with. Cool stuff. Thank you very much for showing that, Violet Rose. We have time for one more, so let's do one last replay. And our final replay comes to us from Girl Boss Shu, aka Surma, over on the Discord server. And here we're going to be seeing another Hecka Hands pile. This time, we're not only going to be combining it with Fiendsmith, but as the username probably gives away, we're also going to be on Dragon Maid as well for a 60-card pile deck. And our opponent is actually on a bit of a Hecka Hands pile themselves. They're combining Hecka Hands with Elf Note, as well as some of the White Forest and Diabellstar stuff. So, lots of Hecka Hands gameplay going on here. Looks like we are actually going to be going second. I think I saw. I missed it as I clicked away, but I'm pretty sure we lost the coin flip. Yep, sure enough, we are going to be going second. Ooh, pretty good opening hand here for going second. We got the Max C as well as Forbidden Droplet. They're going to begin with Special Summon Lucina, add Regina. Now, we're going to wait for them to activate Regina's effect, and then we're going to Max C, forcing them to commit. And excellent, they don't have a response, so we get to summon, or we get to draw rather after they summon Regina, and they are going to pull Fortuna out of the deck as well. Fortuna is going to place Rhapsidia, ooh, from hand, that's always rough. Ibtel going to summon out Gygus. Gygus F going to Excavate 3, they are just going for it. They're going to find our Kitchen Dragon Maid, and then summon the Hecka Hands Jaza, giving us a bunch of draws along the way. We're going to Veiler the Jaza, because we just top-decked it here. But they're going to chain the Sursus of the Sinful Spoils, or Susurrus? It's going to revive the Gygus, giving us another Valor. That's really funny. Jazza's going to resolve, and they're going to add the hidden Hecka hands. They're going to set, activate hidden Hecka hands, send away the set card to add Breas, as well as setting Yadal Hecka hands. And it looks like that's going to be it for their turn. Now we have a ton of cards to pop off with here. We're going to begin with Fiendsmith's Tract. Love beginning a combo line with Fiendsmith, especially going second. Lets you play very well into the opponent's negates and bait them out. Tract for Lurie. Lurie is going to revive and then be sent away for the Requiem. Alright, Requiem for Lacrima. Lacrima is going to activate, dumping the Engraver. Engraver gets to activate, putting back the Lurie. And reviving. Now we are going to use the Requiem effect to equip. And here is Fortuna to swap and then put back the Requiem. Makes sense. We're going to use Tract from the graveyard in order to fuse Lacrima and Engraver into the Fiendsmith's Lacrima. Fiendsmith's Lacrima is going to activate, reviving the Engraver. And now we are going to end up overlaying for the Caesar. So now they don't get to summon on our turn, now without losing one of their cards. Okay, here is Chamber Dragon Maid. Gonna grab the Changeover. We're gonna activate Changeover, and they're gonna use Yadal Hecka hands to negate and destroy. They'll also take our Dragon Maid fusion spell. Looks like we're linking into Striker Dragon. Gonna send the Churmba. Is that what it's called? Somebody out the Lady's Dragon Maid. Surmba. Okay, whatever. Okay, Parlor plus Striker Dragon. That's going to end up making SP Little Knight here. And we are going to use the Banish on their Rhapsidia. Okay, here is Nightmare Apprentice. Nightmare Apprentice F. We're going to add Hecka Hands Monkable. I'm butchering all of these names. Ah! Okay, Breas is going to take their last card in hand, which is their Breas. We knew that. And now we're going to fuse. Oh, is this going to be the Xeno? It is Hecka Hands Xeno. Xeno F, we're going to look at their... Oh, there's Ilia Sylvia and Saint Azamina. That is actual insanity. Yeah, the Regina does end up being protected here, but we still have the overwhelming advantage. Saint Azamina off the Xeno is insane. I thought the Ilia Sylvia was going to be good. This is way better. Here's Dragon Maid Shiu. And of course, we still have the Caesar. They want to try to battle over our Little Knight. We're going to use Droplet to put a stop to that. Yeah, we get to Caesar their Gygus. And then we're also going to use Xeno yet again. Just ripping more cards from their extra deck. And that's going to be it. They are conceding, which makes sense. Alright, thank you very much, not only to Girl Boss Shiu, aka Surma, but to everybody who submitted for the viewer special. As always, I really do thank everyone who submitted, even if you weren't featured. There's always the next week and every week after that we do this series, but moreover, without submissions, we would not be able to do the viewer special, which has come to be, I think, my favorite ongoing series here on the channel. So I really do appreciate everyone who is participating. Thank you very much, and before we sign off now, we're going to finish off with the outro so we can thank our YouTube members and Patreon subscribers. Hey everybody, HexLex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/HexLex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is HexLex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.